Okay. I think I'm ready to go. So I already had Little Nightmares 2 before I finished the first one, but I saw in the thing there's like a little guy with paper bag on his head. So I'm like, that's Tiny. So I guess this is a Tiny story. We're gonna see what happens to Tiny. If Tiny's even the main character in this one, I don't know. Might still be the other person. But anyway, let's see. This time I'm gonna play with controller because it said something popped up that said game is best played with controller. So I'll try that. Let's turn music off now and game music or audio. Turn you down some. Oh, real. That's not borderless. Okay. No. Oh. Okay, let's see what. I don't know what the controller is gonna be like. Is it this button? Yeah. Okay. I'm always so used to Nintendo controller keybinds that I get a bit confused using my normal controller. What is this? Is this the door from last time that we walked into? Oh! Oh, it's shaking. It's rumbling. Oh. 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 It's Tiny! Oh my god! So we are gonna be this guy. Okay, we're like outside now. Hey guys, I'm kind of like lost out here. I don't know what I'm doing out here. Alright, let's figure out these controls. Okay, that's sprint. What? Oh, I call for someone. Oh. Okay, so gonna be help, I guess, in this one? I guess we're gonna call on the other one, but the other little guy that we played last time, had powers. I ate a person last time. Oh dear, what is that? I'm lost! I don't know where I am. I'm trying to find, I gotta figure out what's going on. That looks kinda gross. What is that? That looks like a squid thing. But how am I supposed to go to bed if I don't know where my bed is? I'm trying to go home. Maybe I gotta go through here. How do I pick? Okay. Oh, I gotta pull this. Okay. Well, that's not my fault. Mama shouldn't have left me out. I don't know where I am. I'm like, my head kind of hurts. I just fell from like the sky or something. Why can I not open this? Yeah, I just gotta keep pulling. I can't get this. Hold on, something's flashing in my room. I gotta turn that off. My core? What's a core? Oh, like my abs? I have abs. I can like I'm strong. I bet I can do this. I don't know why I can't do this. Maybe that's not the right way. Maybe I could go somewhere else. Maybe it's like this thing. No, I don't think it's this thing. But maybe I gotta get like I don't know. Like a stick or something. 'Cause I can't get under this thing. Oh. I told you I was strong. I could do it. I just had to loosen it up some. Okay, this one. To go this way, okay. Ew. It's kind of gross. There's like bug juice or something on the ground. I also don't have any shoes. Look, my shoe! My shoe's right there! Oh my god! I gotta pick up my favorite shoe. It's kind of big for me though, don't you think? And here's another shoe! There's 2 more shoes, but I only have 2 feet. What do I do with 3 shoes? Can I put oh, I threw that shoe. Oh, what's that thing? Ew, what is that? They got like bugs flagging all around them. You guys okay? Can I grab your foot? I can! I grabbed his toe! Give me that toe. Ew. Ew, your toe is so stinky. Kiss the toe, forget the... Okay, mwah. That was really gross. Why'd you make me do that? That was... my lips feel like all weird now. But I can't do anything. I guess I can't wear these shoes. They're too big for me. So... Well, hi. So I gotta figure out what are these controls. Which button is to grab? Gimme. 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 Can I grab that one? I swear I could pick these up. What? Okay, why can I not? Oh, there it is. This is a button. Okay. I'm bringing the shoe with me. I'll have at least 1 shoe. There we go. Put myself up. Okay. Trusty shoe. And let's keep going. There's a bridge here. Okay. I don't know why I'm outside. I don't like being in the woods. It's kind of like dark. There we go. There we go. There we go. I'm bringing my shoe. See, if I could wear my shoe, I wouldn't have to touch this icky stuff on the ground. Look at this. Look at this thing. This is like a limbo thing. but it's too small for me to... I can try to go under it, but it's kind of like, oh no! I don't think that was the right thing to do. Someone told me that was not the right thing to do. Now I think real hard about what's the right thing to do. But hey, I got my shoe back, right? Is it actually here? It is actually here. Give me that shoe. What if I throw you, shoe? Okay. And I jump over. There we go. Where we keep going? What's this thing? Okay, that's just some leaves. Huh. A box, huh? Well, I'm gonna push this box. There we go. I see what I gotta do here. See, I'm smart, so I know that I'm like too smart to get over here. So I gotta come over here and kind of like pull this thing or something. Come on, box. There we go. Yeah, put you over here where I want you. Now I get my shoe up. Oh, not my shoe. Shoe, where'd you go? There you are. Am I not gonna... Can I push it with just my body? No. Can I back up? Toss my... no. Not that. Come on, shoe. Give me a shoe. Come here, shoe. Good shoe. Okay. Pull you up. Okay. Maybe I gotta push you closer. There we go. There we go. I'm like so smart. Maybe Mama sent me out here to get like smartest. There we go. Now I get my shoe. Shoe? Give me a shoe. There we go. Oh, I just fell off. Oh no. Okay, shoe. Maybe I should just leave the shoe. I just leave the shoe. I'll come back for you. Ew, spiderweb. I don't like having to crawl through these places. They're kind of like real gross. Ew, ew, it's touching me. It's touching me. Oh, oh God. I got flattened. Get off me. Get off. Okay. Oh no. I'm running as fast as I can. If only I had some shoes. Poor shoe, why did I leave you behind? Poor shoe. Abandoned. Now where do I go? I go down here. Oh no, I don't think I gotta get up there. But how? Maybe I did need shoes. Oh wait, something's right here. What's this thing? Can I grab you thing? Okay, I guess not. Get anything in here? No. Okay. Oh, can I just like go up here this way? And get up this way? Like, I almost can. Oh, almost. But not really. Okay. How do you get up? Oh, I go this way. I see the path I must walk. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm a pro. I've taken gymnastics before. I can do it. I've seen the Olympics. I can do just as good as they can. Just watch me. Yep, see? I'm doing the what is it, trapeze? I got confused. What is it called? It's called yeah, the acrobats do the trapeze, right? Isn't that what it's called? There we go. Alright, barely. I stuck that landing. Oh, what's this thing do? Ah. Gives me a little guy to jump on. Oh, there we go. Yeah. That's how Tiny does it. This must be my test to get my mustache. That must be why I'm out here. Maybe Mama must have wanted to test me. But that's pretty far. Okay, I can climb. I know how to do this. I do this all the time at the playground. Get up there. There we go. I knew you'd come back, Shu. Even though I said I would come back, but you came back to me. And now there's like different colors ones too. I got a blue shoe this time. Come on, Shu. Wait, what's this? Oh, that's a leaf. Shu, check that stuff ahead. No, Shu! My blue shoe! I gotta get another shoe. Yeah, I'll take another red one, I guess. Even though my last one, I think it left me. I think it abandoned me. Wait. Can I not bring your shoe? You're gonna abandon me again? Wow. Wait, why can't I? Oh, wait. I think I gotta grab on. Hold on. There we go. Now pull myself up with my super muscle arms. Why are there so many like traps around here? Like I keep noticing these things. Like look at that. I think that's it's like a I forget the animal. But it's also a tiny trap. It's the animal trap and it's also a tiny trap. So I know I'm not supposed to step in those. But this one's already stepped on. What do you do in that case? Can I take it with me? Oh, this is too heavy. It's too heavy for me. Wait, can I like unpull it? No? Okay. It caught something. Huh. A strange animal. Oh, I'll free you. I'll get you out of there. Oh. It's a stick, not an animal. It's pretty heavy. Oh, I'm sorry, stick. I think you gotta go back in the trap. Oh, it bit me. It bit me. Oh. Oh, that one really hurt me. That's why people tell me not to go in the animal traps, because they hurt real bad. That's why I gotta get this stick in there. Put the stick in the trap. It's so heavy. There we go. Okay, just gently. Oh no. Drop it? No. Pick it up again. Wait, why don't you go in? Oh, maybe I gotta throw you. Here we go. Oh! I slammed it. I'm so strong. I'm so strong, right? I'm very strong. I'm definitely getting my mustache at the end of this. Whoa, whoa. Ow. These are birdhouses. Another stick? Okay, I'll take it. Oh! Oh! Oh no! I got bit again. So wait, where I gotta... Come here, you. Yeah. Oh. Oh, I guess I just gotta keep doing this. Until it gets to one. There you go. Oh, it set him off. Wow, that one was scary. It's like multiples. They're little tree babies. I gotta... Oh! I lost one baby. But I got this baby. What if I sacrifice the baby? Yeah, I think I'm supposed to sacrifice the tree babies. Oh! I didn't even think that was one, but okay. We have more things over here. Oh, yep. More tree babies. Okay, here we go. I gotta make this jump. Oh, very close. Okay. No, no, no! Wow. Well, I already did the thing, right? So I can just get up there, right? Yeah. It's pretty easy. Okay. It's a hill. It's the house. Is this my house? I don't remember Mama having so many things outside the house. Hey, look at this can. Is this my can? I don't know if this is my can. That might be my toilet though. That might be my toilet. I'm not sure. That dog? What's in there? Can I see, please? Thank you. Is this gonna burn me? Okay, no. I don't know, this didn't look like a kitchen. I think it was a big cleaner. I remember all the bugs. I definitely don't think we had that on the wall. Oh, it's a hat. I put it in my pocket. Wait, I can have different... Wait. No. That doesn't look right. No, 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 no. Yeah. I don't like this music. Oh no. Oh, the music's getting louder. Oh, I can see the music. Wait, is that the music or is that dust? Oh, there's some... It's like a big ball of something. Yarn? Oh, hi there. Hey! Oh, is that too soft? Give me this thing. Hello! Can I just grab it and pull it off? Maybe I can use this thing. Oh, I broke it. I don't know. Give me this. Okay, this thing's gonna protect me. Oh, there's an axe. Maybe I use that axe. That was kind of loud. Hope I didn't wake anybody. You know, Mama always tells me not to mess around with sharp things, but I think this time I can do it. Cause I think I gotta let that person out. Oh, I kinda scared them. I guess I am coming in like one of them things you see on TV. They call it like axe murderers. Hey there, my name's Tiny. Nice to meet you. Hey, what's your name? Hey, nice to meet you, friend. Oh, hey, that was mean. You saw that? They just pushed me away. And you left your music box. Here's what I think about your music box. Yeah. Hey guy, where you going? Just gonna follow that guy. I just wanna be friends with you. I need to know how to get home. Do you know how I get home? Oh. I didn't see these people in here before. They're not gonna move, are they? They better not move. Hey, what's that thing do? What are you doing? I'm not gonna hurt you. I just want to talk to you. I want to be your friend. And I want help going home. Come on. Okay. Oh, you can let me. You can boost me. Oh. I'm sorry? Do I just. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh. You got me a new shoe! What a good friend you are. There's something loud up there though. Why don't you go first? Huh, buddy? Why don't you go up there? Why don't you go up there first? I guess you're right. Nobody's quiet. I guess I can go up now. Really? You're not coming? Just gonna let me go up there by myself? Oh. I don't think that's how friends work, but okay. Just gonna let me. You coming up? Oh, there you are. I knew you were a true friend. Help me. Okay. Did this game have a co-op option? Ew, why is that like a caterpillar? Yeah. Let me up. What? I gotta grab you. Okay. Can I pull you up? No, I guess I can't. Right? No, I can't. Okay, I'll go. Yeah, it just looks like... Oh, that looks like pointy stuff. Oh. Hi there. I think you got something that I want. Are you alive? Look, give me this. Oh, you're a doll. Okay. You're made of stuffing. Hey friend, there's like weird dolls all around here. Here, take this. Take this thing. Oh, I guess I can't throw it to you. Okay, thanks. Stop making so much noise. Jesus. Ew, why are you moving the caterpillar? Do I gotta get on this thing? Oh. Ew. I don't like bugs. Oh, I see. You want me to jump, grab it. What? Oh, there it is. Okay, I get it. Oh, we got... I love how I have such big pockets. Now what, friend? Okay. Do we go back? Friend? Can you lead me somewhere? Oh, I can unwind this. For some reason. Okay. Oh, maybe I pull this straw out. Yeah. There we go. You know, I don't really like dolls. They're kind of like creepy. Especially with like the button eyes and stuff. Yeah, I don't like that. You know that movie? Like, what's it with the girl with like the blue hair? Does she have blue hair? Her name's like, Carol? Yeah, that movie? Yeah, that movie's scary. I'm not allowed to watch that movie, especially not after dark. I get too scared. That's why I don't like dolls. Because of that movie. Oh. Ow. Shoo, why didn't you break my phone? Hmm? Oh, there was a lock on this door. Friend, you're so smart. You thought about getting a key to open the door. And now we're back outside. Oh, those are big footprints. I think the dolls made them. How do we get up there? It's a mystery. Can we push it together? Because it does need to be closer. Come on. Oh, we're so strong. We are very strong together. Teamwork gets the thing done. Push more. Okay, that's as much as we can push. I understand. Friend, can you jump? Oh. Friend, it doesn't smell good in here. Alright, be quiet, okay. What's that? Is that a rat? I use oh. Scary. It looks really scary. I don't know about this, friend. It's okay, Tiny. It's okay, Tiny. That scary man. He's not gonna get you, Tiny. No. Just keep going, Tiny. Just keep walking. And then we grab this thing. Oh, he heard us. Do we run? Wait, oh god! Run, friend, run! He's got like a gun. Oh! What? How'd he shoot me so fast? Whoa, friend, you got like a big head start. Oh. Can I get behind things? I'll get behind this too. Oh. Okay. Keep going. Keep running. Here's one. Cookie. Okay. Friend, we gotta get it. Jump down. Here, quick. No, where you going? Don't. Yes. What do you mean? What are you trying to do? You just want us to keep going? No, I don't want to keep going. Look, he's right there. Let's just stay right here. Friend, come on, hide. Hide. Fine. Come on, friend. Nice and steady. Yeah. Keep going. Don't look at the scary man. Keep walking. Nice and steady, nice and steady, nice and steady. Oh no. Come on, just keep going. Keep it going. It's okay, we just gotta keep it going. Yeah. Not go in the light. I think we're gonna get caught. Oh no. Come on, keep it going. Can you go any slower? Come on. I mean, you don't want to be too quick, but you're going so slow. Stop. We're gonna run it. Oh, I think we gotta run for that hole. Okay. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, okay? As soon as he looks away, Tiny Bird, go! Go! Go, Tiny! Go, friend! Get in the... Oh! Maybe not. I thought we could dive in there. Oh, don't. My finger. Poor finger. Don't let go of Crouch. Try to go any faster than this. Come on. Come on, Tiny. We can slowly make our way over there, I guess. I mean, I don't know, like, how. Am I supposed to, like, just walk over there? Because there's, like, nothing covering us over there. So I understand how I couldn't just run there. And it was not fine. Is it timing? But I don't get that timing stuff. Am I hidden behind this grass? Okay, I still am. Okay, come on, come on. Go, go, go. Come on, friend. Oh, is he still going? Oh, he's still shooting at us. Come on. Come on. We gotta get out of here. I want to stretch my hands, but... Oh, I can pause. I need to stretch my hands, because, it's starting to cramp up. Oh, I need to drink water. Okay. Keep it going. Uh-oh, I think I'm gonna have to sprint again. No? Come on, friend, hurry up. Let's get out of here before that guy comes back. Maybe oh. Friend, don't do that what I did. I tried to jump. Do you have a plan? Yeah, it's kind of long fall. Let me try jumping this time. Okay. Okay, friend, I got an excellent idea. What if I jumped? Okay, something's not right with this plan. Something's not right. Okay, what if I try, maybe this time's different. One more time. What if I jumped? Okay, that's not right. I think I see the actual plan. Is we take this thing and we pull it. Look at this thing. We pull it. Yay! Uh-oh. But then now I can't get across. And what do I do? Hey! Hey, help me! Oh, you can catch me? Hey! What do you mean you're gonna catch me? You have to pull this, but it fell down so fast. Right when I let go, there's no time for me. It knocks me over. So, hey, come over here. Okay, here we go. I can't jump that far. Maybe I could get a better running start. How far can I jump? Okay, friend, I let you get across. Yeah. Go. Now, why won't you let me get across? I don't know what else you want me to do. I tried to grab your hand. And you're not. That was closer though. I got closer with that jump, but... Okay, I'm gonna wait. Wait for you to lean and call me over. And here I go. There we go. Teamwork. We're the best team. Doing the team stuff. There's a bed. Oh, he's here. What do we do? Get behind the box. Oh, friend, what are you doing? Friend. What? Friend jumped down. Okay, keep it going. Oh no, I might die. It's kinda slow. Wait, I died. Go, go! Fine. Please. Hit the TV. There we go, there we go. Oh. Pull me up, friend. Pull me up. Come on. Jesus. You did an excellent move. Okay. Okay. Oh, you fell in the water. I also fell in the... I'm drowning myself. Okay. Yeah, we just... Ew, this is so nasty, but I can like... icky stuff. Icky oil. Gross stuff. I have to take a bath after this. And ever since I met you, I've been going through so much trouble, you know. I met this guy after I met you. You know, if only I hadn't like axe murdered you out of that place, I don't think I'd be in this mess. Oh, you're climbing up? Hey friend. Whoa! Why would we push this log? We need it right there. And I don't know about you. You seem like you're trouble. Okay, he's gonna see us because these dang birds. He always thinks that sees us because of the birds. Uh-oh. Guess we jump down again and we run. Keep going. Keep going. Get to here, get to here. Friend, come on. Come on. Come on. You go in the house, go in the house. There's the door. Lock it. Oh, I was supposed to jump up here and grab this gun. Shoot him. I like this one. We can like kill them. We can fight back. We did it. We did it, friend. I take back everything I said about you. Even though it was true. We can use this raft? Okay. Oh, so it's a door. But this is nice. You're taking me on a boat ride. And we just met. So, how's your day been? been pretty okay. Mine's been pretty, you know, I've been running a lot and I'm kinda tired. I just wanna go home. So I'd say it's been pretty okay. Pretty normal. You're one of them quiet people, aren't you? Well, I know how to be quiet myself. Yep. See, I'd hold my breath like this. And I can't talk, right? I mean, I can try to talk, but I can't really talk. So it's like it's my quiet game. It's a long boat ride. What's happening? No, I don't really like the ocean that much. Oh. What is this, friend? Where you taking me? This doesn't look like my house. This is big and scary. Hey, that thing's falling. We gotta get out the way. Okay, we're here, I guess. You could driving a ship. Friend? What you doing? Come. Oh, we can hold hands, you know. That's a pretty big step in friendship for me, holding hands. No, I don't really hold hands that much. But come on, friend. We both shot that guy. Hey, look at this guy. We got a new friend. Hey. Hello. My name's Tiny. And this is my friend. Do you want to come with us? Oh. Sorry, friend. I think I ate him? Yep, let's keep going. That was kind of weird. Friend, I don't know what this is. This is like a creepy place. We just killed that man with the gun. You think it's okay if we just go in this place? What about the police? What if we have to kill somebody else in this place? Whoa, somebody left their pajamas up. Come on, friend. Ooh. This place is very dirty. I'm like broken. Hello? Is anybody out there? Shoo! You came back to me. Oh, I knew you would. Oh, Shoo? Meet friend. Well, I think you guys already met for a second there earlier, but I think I had to get rid of Shoo pretty fast. So, Shoo, meet friend. Friend, meet Shoo. Shoo is my favorite person. And I like to throw Shoo around sometimes. Because, Shoo helps me. Well, I guess I gotta leave Shoo. I gotta leave Shoo behind a lot, but Shoo will always come back to me. All these people left their like clothes all over the place. It's kind of like messy. Look, see what I said? Shoo came back. She came right back to me immediately. Okay. very creepy, friend. I don't know where you brought us, but I don't like it. Wanna give me a boost? Thank you. Guess I gotta get up here and put this thing and do my trapeze again. What does this do? Oh. Wait, friend, trust me. I know I can do it. I know I can do it. I know I can do it. No. Oh. It's not what I meant to do. Friend, I know you keep calling for me, and I'm gonna help you as best I can, but I'm kind of dealing with my own stuff right now, so if you could just, you know, have some patience. Yeah, here we go. Oh, this is what I do. I just kick it. Yeah, take that, TV. Okay. Now I'm upstairs. Friend, let me help you by pushing down this TV. You here, friend? So this is the place from the last one. I see. Am I going over there or you're coming over here? I'm coming over there. Phew. Come on. So this is the place from the last time, so maybe we're gonna see the yellow rain jacket person, if that's not friend right here. So that's what I thought. Oh, look. Hi, Ghosty Man. Oh. Oh. I keep eating these shadow people. I'm sorry. Don't be scared. I just can't help it, you know? Okay. Now what? We go in this thing? I did not mean to do that. I meant to sprint. No, I have to jump again. Okay, friend, get ready. Get in position. Here I come. I didn't make it. Yeah. Sprint jumps will be the end of me. Why am I not getting enough sprint? Okay. I haven't done Tiny's voice for so long. I mean, like, in a while. Okay, here we go. What? Oh, my depth perception. I totally had that if I was jumping on the right. Depth level. Why can't you save now? Why do you have to save before I did that jump? Come on now. Is that not the right answer? I keep jumping and trying to jump grab onto that TV. Maybe we gotta go right. Yeah, I'm dumb. We have to go right. Yeah, here we go. I can do this too with this kind, like the balance beam. Yeah, I do that all the time on the playground. But see, another person whose clothes are just all over the place. And look, Shu came back to me once again. I will never get over my love of Shu. Shu has always been there for me. Has always helped me. Like, right now, Shu, go. Shu, go. Go, Shu. Shu, go. Oh, wrong way, Shu. Okay, it's whatever. Hi, Zelly. Oh. Oh, no. Hi, Zellius. Oh, no. Ow, my head. Oh, my head hurts. Ooh. There's like black stuff coming out of me. Is that like bugs? Oh, no. My poor head. Can I turn it off? Like, turn out the TV. Friend, come help me. Oh. Flash warning, I guess. Turn it off. Oh. Oh, it's a tray. It's a. Wait, what? Oh, I'm tuning it. I'm doing something to the TV that I don't understand. There we go. Oh. I'm in a new place now. I don't like all this scary stuff. I just want to go home. I don't like this. I gotta walk all slow too. You like put me in slow motion. Come on, I can open that door. Ah. Ah, my head. Friend, what was that? Why'd you bring me to this place? Huh? You wanna explain yourself? No? Okay. Still with the silent treatment, I see. Now. There's still like nobody out here. It's so creepy. Look, more shoes. My shoes always come back to me. They're so cool. Can I? No? Oh, we push it. Come on. Oh, we pull it, I guess. Come on, friend. Look, the playground. The seesaw. Let's get on the seesaw. Friend? Come on. Get on the seesaw with me. I mean, that's good enough, but usually you're supposed to stay on the other side while one person stays on one side. But it's okay. I can teach you later. Hello? Can we come in? Oh, is there a hole? I can't grab the doorknob. Okay. How do we get in? Look at this soccer ball. Alright, oh. Someone tied their bed sheets together and threw them out the window. So friend, we can climb up these. This is Tiny's nightmare. Tiny's exploring the world. Come on, friend. Okay. Why is this trash can smoking? Your mama says smoke isn't good for you. So it like hurts your lungs. This is the second one. I don't know. But this is my friend. They don't speak much. We killed a man together. And they brought me here to this creepy place where I saw a vision in the television. Hey, that like rhymed or something. Come on, friend. Those paintings are kind of weird. Whoa. Turned off the lights. Let's keep the lights on. Oh. It's a bedroom. Come on, friend. You want to play ball together? We can pass the ball. Oh, you're holding something too. We can't play catch if you're also holding something when I'm going to throw it to you. What's this thing under the rug? I don't know if I want to know. Can I have these socks? No. Oh, we can climb on the bed. Oh, no, we can't. We can hang on the bed. Well, I'm gonna get a block too if you're gonna have a block. Let's go. Do we bring it? Where do we bring it? Do we need to turn off the light or something? Well, I don't know why we would need to turn off the light to play with blocks, but we can turn off the light. Oh, there's like a little spotlight. See that? I think we got to throw some of the painting. Yeah, good job, friend. We did that. We did that. Wait. This looks like the room friend was in, but I don't know what. Oh, look, little shoes. Can I wear these? Wait, I can? No. And just pick them up. If we both stand on this, then what? Oh. Okay, we go through the floor. You know, friend, I'm not really understanding how this is gonna help me get my mustache, but okay. I guess this is fine. Okay, can we jump? Can. But that doesn't go nowhere, so we go down. Let's go. Because I'm a mustache bandit. But I've never gotten a mustache, so I need to steal my first mustache, and I think this is like a trial for me to like get my first mustache. Oh, that doesn't look good. Okay. Let's get out of here, friend. Before something comes, what is this? Leave that alone. We don't need that. Oh! How Home Alone that trap was. Friend, you don't want to step on that thing. Trust me. Just jump over it. Come on. There we go. Now, what could this trap be? Okay, I'll be on top. Oh, hey, there's another person. Can we go through, please? There's someone running. Oh, they set traps. Be careful. There you are. I see you. Oh. Look, there's a Oh! I dodged that. To get the monkey toy. What's in here? We can't crawl through there. Okay. Where'd you guys go? This way? You disappeared. Okay. This looks like a school, and this looks like the principal's office. I don't think I want to go in here, but I guess I don't really want to get in trouble. Oh. Whoa. More shoes. See, my shoe always comes back to me. Every time. Oh, God. I don't want to be mean, but I didn't like how that person's face looked. Can we get up there? Alright, this bucket. So smart, no? Is it not this bucket? Can you boost me? They closed it, so we gotta find another way, I guess. Whoa! Can we do anything with these? I think we can, right? Let's hold on. Let's come back in here. I'm gonna climb the sink. This mop. Climb on this mop. Can I pull it? No. Okay, but if I climb here, get in there. Then what? Oh. didn't like that. Not where we're supposed to go. The backpack in here. Well, I guess I can't take that, but okay. Oh! Oh, when did this happen? Oh, this was always like this, wasn't it? But this thing wasn't broken here, was it? Maybe it was. Ooh. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It looks scary. Oh yeah, this is where the scary person came out. Okay. We're supposed to go after them, are we? That doesn't seem smart, but okay. No? Okay, good. I don't know, maybe I am supposed to go through that thing, but it didn't look like it was letting me. Maybe I'll just set off all the traps? Like stand over here and let that happen? Come on. Like, I swear I can't. Is it because this is in the way? Like, what is stopping me from just grabbing that window? I know it's closed, but like, can you even grab it? Okay. So this is not the right way. Oh, is it over here? Get on this and then go right. Looks like it. I'm so smart. Ah. There we go. Okay, gotta save. Look at that suspicious looking duck. Oh, there they are. Look at them. They look like a dog. Oh, it was a double trap. Oh dear. You make me think. Oh, I should have ducked immediately, but I forgot. Okay, I'm gonna get through this one. Watch this skill. Duck. I ducked. Why do you keep running away? We just want to be friends. Why are you like booby trapping this place? Okay. Do a serpentine maneuver just in case I spawn a trap. Hey! You guys are dolls! Hey! Leave my friend alone! Leave my friend alone! Let me out of here! Let me out of here! Oh, you bitches gonna die today! I saw this hammer! Oh, I thought I could... Come on! Yeah, yeah. Yeah, get. Oh. But they took my friend this way. Shoot. Yeah, get bonked. See, this is why I don't like dolls. This is just like that movie Carol. They put their eyes in buttons or something. Here I see you. Oh! You set off your own trap. Gotta make sure I get the right. Maybe I can't bring this around with me. Okay, give me another hammer. I need a key. Okay, I can get a key. That's pretty simple. Save my friend. I can get anything. Come here, can. Or spoon. Big spoon? Can I get big spoon? Come on, give me the spoon. Fine, I'll take the can. I can't even take the can. Okay. That's fine. If I take a book. Uh-oh, that looks like a teacher. I don't like teachers. Yeah, I'm sure I'll find another one conveniently lying around. That looks like a trap. Okay, was that a trap? How would you leave that half-eaten apple on your table like that? You're so gross. What is this? This looks like a little escape route for me. No? Okay. This definitely is though. So, oh, there's the key. The teacher? Yeah. Oh! I died? I thought I got out of there. Look, it brought me on top so I could grab the key. Oh! Oh, they're all dolls! And they're killing me! I thought that was a safe place. Okay. I need to listen for the slam, and then the thing that comes after the slam is the writing. Just gonna wait for the first slam. No fair that they can see me and I can't see them. That's not how things should work. Come on, slam your chalk, teacher. I know you're upset. Oh, I didn't even get the key. That would have been bad if I'd left the key. I need a... So... Why did that one... I think that one time was a glitch where it put me on top of the bookcase. Can I really not open this? Okay, let's figure out. I guess I hide there, I don't know. We'll see. So climb up. Once it starts creaking, jump off immediately and like back up. Thought I did that the first time, but I still got squashed. Come here. Okay, see, the teacher comes to inspect, which I can hide from. But if... Oh, Jesus. Dear God. Ah, I see. Oh, she's ready to beat people. Oh. Hey, hey, go that way. Where am I? Oh! Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. Where do I go? Where do I go? Where you going? She saw me. Oh, no, 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 no. The movement's really hard in this game. Sometimes you get stuck on stuff. Ooh. Stop, 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 stop! Stop. Come on. Come on, don't see me. Come on, don't smell me, don't smell me, don't smell me, don't smell me. She could go through her legs. I don't want to risk that. Almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there. When she turns her back. There we go, there we go. This is it. Get out, get out. Oh! Come on, come on. Get the fuck out. Well, I don't know if she has like superhuman smell. And I did swim through some like oil. So I think I'm pretty stinky. There's Pinocchio. I only have shoes. Come on, shoes. You always come back to me. Oh, no. They sound like the elevator. No, was that not the elevator? Oh! Okay. The shoe didn't help me. But I know you're on a leash though. I can just run around you. Can you? I want that pipe. There we go. Got him. Dead. Now I do my axe murderer bit again, where I break through this thing. Yeah. Friend, I'm on my way. Oh, I can't hold my pipe this way. Okay, friend, I'm weaponless again, but I'm on my way. Can you get up there? There you go. I hope they're not doing anything weird to my friend. So painful. Those weird dolls. Whoa. You're beating him? Oh no! Oh, that's the teacher. Oh, she ate me. I found the spot too late. But it won't let it catch me this time. You're so gross. You're so nasty. But we can knock this over again. Can I pick it up? Okay, good, good, good. I'm good at climbing rope. No, I gotta jump over there. Okay, okay, I see it. But I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to knock that board over, okay? Careful, Tiny, careful, Tiny. I don't think her neck can stretch this far. And I'm just gonna run. So, even if it can, she can't get me. Stop moving around up there, just stand still. Uh-oh, look at her. Look at her. Oh. Well, that wasn't smart. Oh, I climb up the ladder, climb up the ladder. It's okay. It's okay. Now what? I didn't think I'd just drop down, but... Oh. Oh, maybe I moved the ladder because it was, you can move it. I'm gonna move it there. Okay. Just waiting for her head to just pop over the bookshelf at any moment. I knew it, 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 I knew it. What? What? How did I not get through there? Oh, that was messed up. Here I go, here I go. Oh, come on, come on, come on. I made it. There we go. She's probably gonna figure out a way to get her head still. Come on, come on. Come on, go up, go up. Go up. Right? Come on, jump. There we go. No! Damn it. Oh, I hate her. I hate her. So I can climb on the books, but not the... Whoa, why did that happen? What? Oh. Gotta wait. She's like a fucking vulture. Stop jumping. on now. Go back to teaching. You're teaching. Oh. No? Not that way? No, I don't have to go through that door, do I? No. Come on. Does have the right handle. I was going to. But, I don't like it. It keeps rumbling my controller. It keeps sounding like, your steps. Come on, come on. Okay. I heard a door. I do not like this. Okay. Black needs to be in the middle. Whatever that is. Is that king? No. I don't know what these symbols mean. Is that bishop over there? The top left? White bishop? I need to find the tops of these freaking... I think it's bishop. White bishop. In the top left. One down from the top left. I think that thing's alive. No, no, no. Give me that. You go... here. Night? Oh, here it is. How do I get to you? What is that behind him? Is that a weapon? No. That's his legs. Oh. See, is there another? Okay, so we need that there. What's that white piece? Rook? This one gonna be rook, I guess? These are pawn. Oh, what is this? Bro, get off this table. Come on. Oh, I need to bring the one from the outside. Yeah. Duh. The rook one. Chess is a scary game. No. Get off. No. Think you go here? Then I take you off. Put you over here. This thing is gonna like scream as soon as I... Oh. Something happened. Since the other two aren't there, do I gotta take off, or the other three, do I gotta take off their thingies? Or can I only remove the ones that are white? Yeah, I can't mess with these. Okay. So I think that's that puzzle. I don't know what that did. It turned on the light somewhere. Oh! It's another... Oh! It's another dark shadow I consume. Oh, no! Oh, good. I need a key. Should've looked at what I needed before. Okay, I need a key. Key. The lights turned on, but what did that do? Creepy ass doll pictures. Light turned on. Is there something over here now? Further than I went. No? Oh, I can get on this table now, though. Oh, it turns off the light. Put it back on. Put it back on. What is locking? Or unlocking, rather. Hey, give me this. What click? Where? Where is that happening at? Is this window unlocking? I can't even... Oh, I can't get up here. Is this window unlocked now? Nope. You're not live now, are you? Okay, good. Something with these drawers back here? Maybe, hold on. Get up here. Get up there. Grab him. Nope. Maybe. Or grab onto this. Oh. I know it had something to do with this dang thing in the back. I said the lamp itself was a key. I think I'll put a stop here. Been going 2 hours. The last game was like... I had like 5.5 hours of playtime. So we're like... mostly halfway. Pretty much halfway. But yeah. Hopefully I can finish it before I go back to, college. Oh. Doing Tiny's voice for so long did kind of hurt. Thank you everybody who stopped by, hung around, chatted, lurked. It was fun. I don't think I'm gonna rate anybody. I think I'm just gonna end it. Everyone, have a good night. Or day. Whatever time it may be. Thank you for hanging around, Rhett. And I'll see you guys whenever I stream again. Bye-bye.